everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies, and today we are reviewing the two Masterchef episodes 15 and 16 that were on last night. To say it again, we don't like doing two episodes together. It's just too much and just feel almost overwhelmed. But they were good episodes, fortunately, but it's still just too much. So just to start off, I'll just tell you the first of it was called the Patio Grilling Challenge, and they were outside, and of course they were grilling on these fantastic gas grills that people have, and some of them had never been used those kind of grills before, and others, in fact, I'd say quite a few of them had never cooked on a grill like that, or they hadn't cooked on a grill at all. They were used to doing, and we'll talk about the specifics, but they were used to working on open fire. So, go ahead, Marco. You want to say anything? And I'll get a drink. Oh, there it is.
The first episode really exposed how weak these chefs are.
Yeah.
Because none of them... It reminded me of the dessert episode where, you know, all these chefs, all they really know how to do is pretentious entrees and a couple of desserts here and there. And it was the same type of thing where, like, all these chefs, they were exposed in this episode. They were totally exposed. And, you know, you could just... all the way around, except for a couple who did good. But it was mostly just, like, complete and utter, like, chaos. Weird ideas, too. Like, even people who did well, like Grant, you know, cooking Italian food on the grill. Weird.
Called steak Mexicana.
And as soon as he did that, too...
Oh, that was Wayne. Sorry.
Wait. Okay, now Safi's screwing me up.
Oh, no, he did pork chops with Italian
Yeah, he did
sauce.
Italian. I just said Italian.
With polenta, and that's it.
You can't even read.
Well, I told you.
What? You told me that?
I told you that I needed to go through my notes. Yeah, he was the first one they actually looked at. But let's say this first. Brenda had won immunity for this week. It was the last immunity pin they did.
She helped Reagan get saved as well, and I thought, wow.
She did that because she felt like if she helped other people that who were really good, why would she do that? She would be helping somebody who closely competed against her. So she wanted to help somebody who really hadn't stood out, and she's right. She was right, though. Reagan doesn't stand out, hasn't done anything. She's just skated by.
And now she got to skate by again.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny, though, because I was just sitting there watching and, like, just thinking, like, you know, this is what they get. You know, they got rid of that Viking woman. They got rid of
the guy from Mississippi,
Kyle,
Grill King.
They got rid of all these great cooks, and this is what they get.
And the one from Kansas City, he was a griller. Well, I was wondering what would happen if they were going to have any kind of grilling challenge.
It was kind of like watching, like, what if MasterChef made a Suicide Squad movie? Like, you just have all these, like, you just have this, like, look, this is what's left.
So Reagan and Bren did not have to cook, but everybody else did. They just got to sit and watch.
And Madam Donut, like, just some of the dishes were really bad, like, who was the girl with the clams, or the girl from Alabama? She was the worst this episode. She was, like, laughing and giggling like she was drunk, which Chef Gordon, he even asked her, have you been drinking? And she's like, and that was weird. She would probably be good to have on a podcast if she's acting like that, because, like, it would fit right in, right, Safi?
Yeah. She did a surf and turf.
But she was terrible. She was like joking around with the two people who were safe, and it just seemed like she wasn't really that serious. And, you know, I was thinking her dad probably is cringing this entire episode because of the mistakes that she made.
Well,
like, she burned the crab. She had crab, and she burned it, and it was brown, and it looked like mulch or something. It didn't even look like crab meat.
oh, it looked really awful.
It was bad.
The reason why Marco says something about her dad was because she said, oh, she has tons of experience grilling, but it's really her dad that works on the grill. She just helps him. So that was a couple of other people too, that they, the one, Jennifer from Arkansas, she had the same thing. The husband's the grill master in the family. And then MD, this is the Hawaiian girl. She's never cooked on a grill, only an open fire.
And she did a terrible, it's like she was trying to hide away from using the grill. Like she was too scared.
She doesn't know how to use it. She goes, I don't even know what all these buttons are for.
She put like this fish in a grape leaf, and then she steamed it in the grill, and
she put red snapper in a banana leaf.
It overcooked to where it was really bad, and her dish was the worst because you could see like she overcooked the shrimp too, and she was just hiding from using the grill like it's supposed to be used.
And snapper was overcooked.
Yeah, Safi, we don't need to hear your shitty notes that nobody cares about.
Okay, Marco, that's not good.
And then Kennedy, I thought, did a bad job, too.
And she did something, well, she might have changed it a little bit. She had made elk on another episode, an earlier episode, and it was really, really good.
It was the dish that got her into the competition, and so it would have been very fitting if she actually got sent home this episode, getting sent home on the same meat that brought her in.
It was a coffee rub tenderloin.
Safi, fuck off with your notes. Here, let's get rid of those. Nobody cares. Specifics,
fine. I don't
specifics
know. I
don't
can't tell
matter.
you about the rest of them and who won't.
And Kennedy, as I was trying to talk to, and of course Safi doesn't really understand. When you podcast, you're not supposed to constantly like interrupt people, because then people turn off the video. So I thought that this really exposed her, because her making elk, the same thing that she made when she got into the competition, and doing a really poor job, I thought it really exposed her as not being as great as we thought she was. Again. So it felt like very underwhelming that you have this group of cooks and it just kind of feels like they're just some of them are really skating by. Like the girl from Alabama this episode, she got away with murder because she got saved at the very end. Madam Donut was the one who got sent home, and she got to be safe, and then she got the benefit of next episode being a team challenge. And it seems like the girl from Alabama is very good at team challenges. And the person who won, I forgot.
Oh, wow, really?
I think it was Grant, and
no, it was Wayne.
I think it was Wayne.
Wayne did. He did this. I think it was a steak Mexicana or something. I thought, when he said that, he was going to use Mexican flavors on, a regular steak and some other stuff. I didn't write down all their sides because I just couldn't keep up with. There's just too much, and I thought, now we're going to have a problem because it's Mexican seasonings. But I guess that was okay with the Rome. Remember, he's very particular and has a fit about them doing Mexican foods. And so, but he just used the seasonings. So that was okay. And it turned out he was happy.
Yeah, thank God he didn't try to make grilled tacos or something.
No.
A-Rod would have been like, these aren't good enough. Wah! Bye-bye.
Yeah, he would have too.
That's what he does every time someone makes tacos.
It makes me a nervous wreck.
These aren't good enough.
It's almost like the thing with it's been between risotto and Mexican food.
Yeah, don't make either of those on Masterchef.
No.
Next episode. So, oh yeah, let's rate this episode. Like, you see how you don't even really have to say much about this.
So MD got sent home and Wayne won.
Yeah, I already said that.
But he didn't get
3 minutes ago.
He did get one advantage for the next one, but he will have to cook in the next episode.
Yeah, we'll talk about that with next episode. Now we have to rate this episode. I give this episode a B. It's just really underwhelming when, it's really underwhelming too because you know that there's 2 episodes to watch, so it's like you're shoving these episodes down my throat, but it's also underwhelming because of the people who are left there. And I thought, that Bryn girl, the suicidal girl, she was really lucky not to have to grill. Like, she was really, really lucky because if she didn't get sent home the next episode, I would have had her going home on an episode like this because I don't think she's grilled very much. And, yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember if she even said anything about it, but it didn't matter. She had immunity, so.
Next
I
episode.
I gave it the same grade.
Oh.
But
How interesting.
I just thought it was weird to have the thing where they allowed her to pick somebody. I thought that was weird because it's so late in the season. Usually that seems like that happens earlier, but whatever.
Next episode is the Wall. And I thought that this was a really good challenge.
And it is a challenge.
It's a fun challenge. It made for a fun episode, regardless of how underwhelming the contestants are. I would, just right off the bat, I would give it a B+ just because the challenge itself. Not even, because honestly, with what happened at the end, I'd kind of give it a D or something because I thought that was trash. It was another terrible judging decision. But I guess they couldn't really do anything about it because they said at the beginning 2 people are being eliminated from the same team. So it was both people. It couldn't just be one person. It had to be 2. And that, in my opinion, I thought that was bad.
And why would it be bad?
Well, we're going to get into the episode now.
All right. Well, so the advantage that Wayne had was he got to pick the teams, but he also had to cook. Now, they're all going to have to cook from now on, I believe. So he put himself with Grant. And then Kennedy was with Sav. That's the Alabama girl's name, which I can't figure out what that's short for. S-A-V.
Savannah.
Oh, well, that Sav is weird.
Yeah, Sav sounds...
I've never heard of that.
Sav sounds like the victim of a serial killer who kills girls who hitchhike on the highway.
Okay, then there's Bryn and Colby and Jennifer and Reagan. And, yeah, that's it.
And right off the bat, I was really, really hoping that Karen would go home this episode. Because...
That's Jennifer.
I
Jennifer
really...
and Reagan.
I swear to God, I will take Reagan winning the show. I will take Savannah winning the show, which that's not going to happen.
No.
I will take Kennedy, Safi's master crush, winning the show. But please do not let Karen win, because that would be the worst. It would be the worst outcome. It would be Dara all over again. To me.
Well, she every show, every single show, I believe, she has mentioned that she has 6 kids.
And this time, I didn't even, I wasn't even near the screen. I was in the kitchen getting some snackums. And I heard just a little bit, I heard in the background, and I have 6 kids. It's like,
This
oh.
was this wall challenge, and what happens is there's a wall of, they have all of the implements of the kitchen.
I can handle this challenge. I have 6 kids.
And one of the contestants is on one side and one is on the other. They have to have the same exact dish. It has to be cooked the same. It has to be plated the same. It has to be cut the same. And so they can't see each other. The only time they can see each other is at the very beginning. We're in the pantry. They have to plan what they're going to make and anything else to do with it. How it's going to be plated, how long it's going to be cooked.
You know what I would have done? You know what I would have done?
What?
Suck on this egg yolk ravioli. Boom! Yeah. I mean, that would have been simple. Just do a fucking ravioli dish. You got 3 fucking ravioli in the middle of a fucking sauce with a garnish. That's it. You don't need to do anything more than that. But oh no. I said a fucking sauce. But you had all these people, they're like, you have to have a meat, a vegetable, this and that. And it's like, you could have just done a simple ravioli.
Well, but the thing is, you can't, so they have to yell because they can't see each other. And so, like I said, they had all these parameters about being identical. So Jennifer, Marco's Karen, she said she had a hearing problem, one of her ears. She's deaf in one ear. She said, I have 6 kids. I managed all these years, so I'm sure it'll work out. But it was extremely difficult for them. For Reagan, Reagan said, okay, we're going to do this. Oh, yeah, okay. And what did you say? What do we have to do? When? So they did have a little bit of a problem, and it did affect their presentation and cook. But we'll go into that. Okay, do you want to go in then who did good and who did bad?
Well, Grant and Wayne did the best.
Yes, they did the best.
Which was funny because the editors tried to make it to where you thought they were going to do bad. And, I've gotten kind of used to that where I can see the editors, what they're trying to make you think is going to happen versus what'll actually happen.
Well, the one thing that happened at the very beginning, and this is partly why Mark was saying that, is because they were going to make a béarnaise sauce, and apparently béarnaise sauce has to have eggs, and they forgot to get eggs, and they were not allowed to go back to the pantry. So they couldn't, if they forgot something, they couldn't go back and get anything. They had to either not do it or change it and put a substitution. And so they came up with some kind of mushroom wine sauce. And even the judges, of course, they still went around, how you doing? And they told the judges, because they came and talked to them, and they didn't sound like they were very enthusiastic about it either. So that's why it was like you were looking at what they were doing and you were a little doubtful about the outcome. Okay, but they did do good. They made a filet mignon, and there were carrots, and then that's mushroom sauce.
With Jennifer and Reagan, unfortunately, they did not get sent home.
But they didn't do very well.
Jennifer, they would have gotten sent home if the other team didn't have problems.
And it was very noticeable.
But Jennifer undercooked her scallops, which I have made scallops, and I'm not a master chef. You remember, Safi, I made scallops
you did
because
a good job. I don't like scallops, and I think they weren't hard.
They weren't that great because they weren't seared enough, but they were cooked all the way through. And I did it from a Hell's Kitchen recipe video where they're like, this is how you do a quick scallop, easy recipe. And I cooked it, and it took like a couple of minutes. It was easy. Somehow, Karen couldn't handle that, and she had undercooked scallops. I thought, wow.
Well, it was very interesting. You know how they do, this is one of my biggest pet peeves about today's cooking on these shows is these dots. And they put dots of sauce. I've already mentioned this in other episodes, but their dots didn't match, and they gave a little giggle about it. And Ramsay said, "That's not funny." And I was like, "Oh my God, are you kidding me?" And they were. I think they were a little bit taken aback that they're because of her hearing, but really, and of course, like he said, she undercooked her scallops, and of course, that's not good, of course.
And I thought, see, this is exactly why I don't like this season, because look at this. It's like the top 7 or whatever, and you have these girls up there giggling, top 8, and they're up there giggling about how, they don't really know what they did. It's like...
It wasn't that bad, though, in terms of presentation. They were a little bit off. But the one who's the team that was the worst, we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah.
That was really not good. It was so much worse, and so they got sent home. But anyway, okay, and then Kennedy and Sav, they did really well.
They did a good job, which...
Excellent job.
I was really upset at that, too, because I thought, okay, this could have been perfect, because... And I think that this is what Wayne was thinking. He was thinking, I'm going to pair up both of the bottom chefs from last episode. And they're obviously going to do badly together. And it's too bad, because that would have actually been a good 2-part episode where those girls, they were supposed to get sent home last episode, and then they end up getting sent home this episode. That would have been nice.
But theirs was just... really practically perfect. I'd say theirs looked at the best of anybody.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
But they didn't win though. But they were very. They had talked about. I guess maybe they had talked about how it was going to look, but they were very good about communicating. Because, like I said, it had to be cut the same, look the same, taste the same, and plated the same, everything, and they talked through everything. And they said, Kennedy, are you gonna have a problem with doing this? And she said, oh no, Sav has this accent that stands out above the rest, because it gets really loud with everybody yelling across this wall. And she said, no, her accent stands out above everybody else's, so I won't have any problem. So they didn't. They did really well. So, what else?
Well, the worst one was, surprisingly, Colby and the suicidal girl.
Bran.
It was really hilarious, actually, because it's going to make for perfect meme material. She was like, we're still good, Colby. And then they cut into Colby's fish, and she saw it was raw, and she was like, no, we're not good, actually. It was so hilarious. Like, she literally went from being, like, hopeful and happy to being, like, depressed and crushed, like, within a second, because she knew she was going home at that point. She realized, and you could see it on her face.
The thing is, they made salmon, and hers was perfect.
Yeah.
And his was exactly the opposite. And
yeah.
But what really looked bad was the plating didn't look the same. You could tell he just kind of went ahead. They weren't together. They didn't do what Kennedy and Sav did. They didn't communicate on everything. And there was a thing with the salmon that really stood out too. That's probably why they edited it the way they did. She said, "You already have the salmon on?" And she said, "I haven't even put it on yet."
She's like, "You already have my salmon on? we're gonna lose. I should just hang myself right
She
now.
didn't say that.
That's what she was thinking.
Oh yeah, okay, right.
You could see it. She had she at the end of the episode, it was just like all hope was lost, and she knew what was going to happen. It was like the realization that the end was there because of something that she didn't even do.
Yeah, that was the thing that was kind of unfair about this. When you have two people and they cook, and one of them cooks terrible, and his plating was terrible. It didn't even look good. I don't know what happened with him. It's like he kind of got immature during the episode. Like he, sometimes these boys they're not they just don't act their age. They act kind of younger.
He was another one who just completely exposed himself.
Yeah, he did. It was a shame because he is good at cooking, I think. I just don't think he's completely mature.
And I was extremely upset, but kind of, just laughing at the same time because it was so hilarious. But I was so upset because Karen gets to skate by, Reagan gets to skate by. I mean, is there anyone in the whole world who genuinely thinks that Reagan is going to win? Because I know that she's a good cook, and she's like a medium contender, but she's not like top 5 material even, and then Karen, she's like a I don't understand. It's just so disappointing.
Well, I was wishing that they could have gotten a bad one from each team.
Yeah.
Instead of punishing the one who didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, because like the suicidal girl, she basically didn't do anything wrong.
No, she didn't.
And the fact that like she still gets sent home, that was really disappointing.
Yeah, I didn't like that. So,
but guess what, Safi?
What?
No more Northeast.
There's nobody from the Northeast left, which is funny because of Joe.
Joe?
Yeah.
In fact, well, go ahead.
Well, at the beginning, he said his group was going to be strong and they were going to rule. And
well, let's go through it. We have one.
Well, they're both from the Midwest.
We have 1, 2.
She's from the West.
We have
she's from the South.
We have 2 people from the Midwest. We have. I can't remember.
They're from the South.
And then we have 3 people from the South, and one person from the West. No more Northeast. Joe.
Yeah.
Joe. I mean, you have to wonder too. Did Joe piss his pants when he saw that her fish was raw? Because like that was like.
Who? Jennifer?
Wait, her fish wasn't raw, but the guy's was. And like, did he like wet his pants because he realized that the last Northeast person was gone? Like, did he try to fight for her and say like, look, she's a top 2 contender. She should not be sent home. She's way better than all these scrubs. Like, did he say anything like that to defend her? Or,
he may not have remembered.
Really?
I don't know.
You think
didn't say anything.
You think he has dementia or something?
No, I just think he's full of himself and he just thinks about himself.
I don't know.
He was a little bit crabby. They were saying some, especially that thing with the dots on the plate is not funny. Chef Ramsay, like.
That was.
It wasn't. They weren't laughing like hilariously. They were just giggling a little bit because they were nervous. It is a little nerve-wracking because they knew it wasn't as good as it could be.
And he's like, "F you."
Yeah, I know. What?
And I would give the episode a B+, as I said, even though I was extremely disappointed.
I was disappointed too.
In fact, I think that they should do a redemption episode because all that's left are like a bunch of scrubs.
I don't know. I'm just looking at him. Grant, the full of himself guy from Columbus, He's actually improved.
No, that's Wayne.
Wayne. I'm sorry.
He's
Grant's the one from Iowa.
They're good. It's just that they're not like what I would picture in a normal MasterChef season as like the top tier of MasterChef. Like they're people who I would think like would get sent home episode 10 or something.
Yeah. And Kennedy is not she's just been making mistakes all over the place.
She's not great.
She's not. I mean, there just isn't anybody here.
She is your crush, but
oh, come on!
You have to put your bias.
Listen to that. But anyway, they don't stand out like in other seasons where they've had somebody who's made a few mistakes, but they've gotten better and better and better.
There's
and
no
they've
one.
been outstanding.
No one. I guess Wayne could be one.
Yeah, well, like I said, he's come a long way since making pumpkin risotto. So, and Grant, I'm just not sure he can do it. I don't know.
He could.
He's the one
guess.
from Iowa.
Could Karen do it? No.
I hope not.
No
if
way.
I hear her saying she has 6 kids at one more time, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I bet you if she's in the fucking finale, which if that is what happens, I will stab my eyeballs out with
No, he won't. God bless it.
I will, because that'll just be the worst thing in the universe next to world hunger and AIDS.
Well, I just don't.
But I guarantee I guarantee that if she's in the finale and her 6 kids are up in the balcony, she's still gonna say to the camera, "I have 6 kids."
Yeah. Oh,
right?
God.
You think she will? She's gonna do that.
I wouldn't mind Kennedy getting in the finale, but she's just. I mean, I look at all these people: Sav, Kennedy, Jennifer, Reagan. I just don't. I don't see it. I just don't. I don't see it. Maybe Wayne, but I wouldn't unless it be Wayne against Grant, which would be weird.
That'd be kind of.
I don't know. I just it's just not like. And I mean, this is season 21. I've watched quite a few seasons. I remember that one. I don't know her name, but the one who was blind, the Asian girl, who's just almost completely blind.
The one with the second place guy who committed suicide. And
he really did commit suicide too.
Yeah.
They were both good, but she was like outstanding. She got every dish. It was amazing. It was like Simone Biles in gymnastics. I mean, it was just outstanding and unbelievable. She would make these.
Yeah,
dishes,
I mean, she
meals.
was somebody who you thought, wow. And you look at all these people, and even though some of them are good, you don't look at them and say, wow.
No, you don't. I don't.
You look at them and say, oh.
And I feel bad. We're not criticizing them personally.
No, I'm criticizing the show because the show failed to give us contestants that were worthy of cheering for and saying that, like, oh, I hope that person wins MasterChef. Like, I'm not excited at all. I'm just like, it's fun to review it because it's like one less movie to watch, but
they're going to next week. I think it's another 2-episode thing.
Yeah, they're going to do Hell's Kitchen, which I'm like,
oh God.
Ooh. And then right after that, they're going to do semifinals.
It's just unbelievable.
With the top 5. And it's like they're really rushing it to an end. I guess they realize that their contestants aren't very good, so they're like, let's just get this over with. It's like American Horror Story last year where they were like, this season's trash. Let's just put 2 episodes out a week and not even market the season so that nobody really knows that it's coming out.
I thought it was very interesting. I'll say it again.
Oh, it was trash.
But it was. It wasn't something. It was just depressing. because it was true.
It was terribly written. It was terribly executed.
Yeah, but it was just
Lots of missed opportunity. Lots of inflammatory agenda stuff.
and they only have one supernatural thing. And
Yeah.
I'm reminded of it constantly because it was with tarot cards. And we near here is a tarot card. She just set up, I guess it's a she, I'm assuming, because it seems like it's mostly women who do
I
it.
bet she's a fraud.
I have no idea, but she does tarot card reading, and she has a great big sign. And every time I see that, I think about that episode, because that was the only supernatural thing that they had. And I'll never forget, oh God, when the guy visited his, I guess you couldn't do gay marriage back then, but it was his significant other in the hospital, and he had AIDS, he was dying.
And he gave him applesauce, and
God.
after he took a bite of it, he licked the spoon.
Oh God!
That was so stupid.
I was just, and they didn't. I don't think they knew about AIDS. Didn't have it. Maybe they didn't have the name for it yet. Or
even if you didn't know, you know that somebody's sick and you're not,
yeah.
and they take a bite of something and you lick the spoon.
Oh.
That's the.
Oh God!
Well, I'll never forget.
I'll just never forget that.
I'll never forget
scene.
that character saying that that serial killer killing people was just his way of showing gay pride, because that is literally what was a line on the show.
Oh,
I'm not kidding.
I forgot about that.
Remember that,
I'll
Safi?
never forget the lick. It was like that other Outbreak, the movie Outbreak, when they showed the guy sneezing and he'd been infected, and then you could see the sneeze go out into the audience, slow motion, in the air. The droplets from his sneeze go, and everybody's in there getting infected. I'm like, oh God, that's what it reminded me. One thing led to another, and I don't know why I got onto that. Oh, the tarot cards. Anyway, we'll see what happens, but it's not.
I'm not excited.
Not excited about it, and it's rapidly going by. It's like we have no more Dark Winds episodes, but I can make up for it by actually reading the very well-written books. I'm on the Ghost Way now.
They rushed to an end, and now MasterChef is rushing to an end. It's like, God, where are you going, guys? Where are you going?
Yeah, but because of
people want to watch TV.
Because of the strike, what's going to be on?
Your mom. So, anyways.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Tomorrow will be my review, and then Saturday will be Oblivion 2 review. Another full moon movie.
Yeah. And then next week will be another Slappy World review.
Safi, we have a full calendar. There's a video every day.
Yeah, that's right. We will be having a video try at to have one every single day.
No, we will.
We have it mapped out all on the calendars. So for September and October.
And we did finish a Worst Cooks in America season, and that was better than the whole thing of MasterChef has been.
Yeah, it was very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And they're terrible cooks.
Mm-hmm.
And that show's kind of changed too. They've done quite a few years, and we haven't even seen all of the seasons at all. And but it's fun. And she must, what is it, Anne Burrell?
Pennywise.
We call her Pennywise. She just seems to like that, to work with these people who are, they've never cooked a day in the kitchen in their lives. And at least they don't pretend like they're master chefs. Like, that's the thing about this. I don't know what they're going to win in this show. Do you know, this MasterChef?
I don't know. Money and kitchen equipment and fame.
The trophy.
Probably a guest starring role next year, even though the Dara wasn't on this season.
Yeah,
Which,
you gotta wonder why. Because she's...
what could they have done? Cook Chinese food?
Or cake. And they already did cake episodes, so she wouldn't be able to do that.
But there was a funny moment where Chef Gordon told Alabama girl that she deserved to be there, and I was like, Chef Gordon, you must have been high. Because, like, yeah, I mean, how could you even say that with a straight face? Alabama girl, you deserve to be in the top 8 of MasterChef. Like, fuck off with that shit. Like, come on. Maybe out of this group, but not really.
Yeah, she stood out to be really good at the very first episode. And she has really... And week after week after week, they didn't even show her. They just like barely showed her face from afar. And you wondered, like, God, I hate when they do that too. They don't show everybody's cooking. And now that they have very few contestants left, and they have to show her cooking, and it's just it's not as good as you. So I was worried about grilling. I knew this was going to be a problem because all of the grillers
are gone.
They're gone. And I'm thinking there was one from Mississippi. There was one from the Northeast where he was. They gave him that. Remember the double-boned pork chops with a breeze, and I constantly hear the person who grills in the house. Whenever we would grill, and he would say something about the wind that would affect the cooking in a negative way. I mean, he had everything just going against him from the very beginning. And I knew this, so he's gone, and he was supposed to be the master griller. So all these really good grillers, the one from Kansas City, I mean, everybody, they're gone. They were gone a long time ago.
And I bet they watched the episode and thought,
they did too.
What are you doing?
I could have done this. Oh, I wish I could have been there. It was almost like that guy. It just makes me mad. The one that had to cook the double bone pork chops. It was almost like he was jinxed at the very beginning. You just knew he wasn't going to succeed from the very start. And that's just a shame. Because that seems to me to be unfair. But anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers. We would welcome your feedback. And what do you think about the contestants? I'm sure you might disagree. And if you do, that's fine. No problem. And you can say why you disagree. Or you agree. Or would there have been anybody better at what is to come up? Who has been sent away in previous episodes. So that's it. And goodbye, everybody.
Bye.